The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Or at least half of it, as it were.
A two-man weave.
A two-man weave, right? Welcome to 2021's edition of Basically a Football Show, basically.
Essentially, yeah, back to
the old days.
We were doing 3 different podcasts a week between me, you, and Mike doing the Geek Show.
Yeah.
The amount of free time we had back then.
Right? It was a little different. Yeah, we would do, I forget what day we were doing this show. I think it was on Mondays, and then we would do the football show on Tuesdays, basically. I don't remember how we did it.
Yes. I believe, well, maybe we did it the other way around.
I think Bass was on Thursdays back then, and we were doing this on our football show on Tuesdays.
Yeah, because we use that as more like the preview, and then, yeah.
Well, I will say, I think that basically a football show was a great show. I really did. It's just, we had fun. Didn't have the time to do it anymore. Wow, this is the first. Mike or Andy is the last person to be here. This has never happened since we started doing these live. Mike, are you there?
Mike has no mic. Mike is muted.
Muted. Did I mute him?
Hello. Yes, I was muted for some reason.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
We were just talking about the old football show because it was just Zach and I to start this version of the show. So you
guys gonna talk about March college football?
Right.
I don't know how to wrap my head around the March high school football I'm going to. I don't need the college version thrown in here too.
It was so weird when Andy sent that text message, like, is there college football on? Because as he was sending it, I was actually driving past Raymond James Stadium going, why do they have USF flags flying? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if USF moved to the spring or not. Did they?
No, they were part of the, for a while, they were part of the playoff picture.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know I honestly don't know if they're playing. I don't care enough about USF football to follow them, but
they
had the flags flying at Ray J.
You know what it might have been? It might have been their spring game, Zach.
Spring game. Yeah. There you go.
That's what it was. But so
the game was 2 days ago.
Division or FCS divisions are all playing spring schedules, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing playoffs like they normally would, or if they're just doing like a league or conference schedule. But yeah, almost all those smaller schools that aren't tied to the big TV contracts and money that the playoff the bowl subdivision is. So it's neat. I mean, it's something to give these smaller schools a day in the spotlight if you can find it, or if you stumble across it like you guys did. But because it is one of those things where, like, good for them that they're moving to the spring. It's like, but it's also going on at the same time as March Madness and baseball coming back.
Right.
And it's like, it's still not going to be as paid. It's going to get the same levels of attention as it would have otherwise. Right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a tad, maybe a tick more, but not much more.
Yeah.
You're always going to get the football freaks that are going to be happy that there's football to watch in March.
Which is why, despite 2 failures, you still have TV networks willing to give the XFL another go.
I mean, not just the XFL. I mean, how? I mean, we've detailed this before, but countless attempts at spring football have been had, and I mean, it works out a little bit this year just because of logistics. Like, one of the things when I was doing my high school football previews, when I was talking to these coaches, I'm kind of like, your schedule's still going to go on normal next year, as far as you know. So, like, I mean, you got to manage these kids' bodies in a way that you don't have to normally, where it's, yeah, sure, you can go for a full football season as many games as you can fit in between March and whenever the season's over. But then like that's when you would be normally doing spring football. So you're putting all this extra mileage and not giving them the same sort of break that they would get in between. So it'll be curious how that plays out. I mean, again, we won't know because when the fall starts back up and they're going at the same time as the FBS, there's even less of a reason to pay attention to what's going on at North Dakota State or wherever.
Presbyterian, I think, was one of the games that was on ESPN Plus Saturday. But yeah, I know when the USFL, when they had players that were like leaving the USFL to go to the NFL, they would play a full 18-game season. Now, obviously, high school football and college don't play this number of games, but they would leave the USFL after playing a full season, pick up with the NFL and training camp, and these guys were breaking down pretty badly after, say, 7-8 games because it was just too much football and that amount of time. You're talking, what, 25 or no, what would have been 40, a lot of games. And you were seeing it with like certain players, they were just kind of breaking down as the season went on. They were getting injured and that. So that's something they're going to really have to think about, especially with these kids, because they're not nearly as well conditioned as like a college athlete or an NFL athlete. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Well,
they can, but in California, you can hold off the beginning of the season to like October and be okay weather-wise, whereas here you couldn't do that.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
That's also true.
Yeah.
But with some of these things getting pushed, you get the NAIA has also been moved on, and that's where one of the big stories of the weekend came from in terms of football.
Oh my God, what? What happened?
And when I say big, I mean big. You'll see what I mean when I post the link here. So Arizona Christian's kicker, Arizona Christian.
Oh my God!
Firebirds out of
that's a big boy.
Yeah, Northern Phoenix. They have a 285-pound kicker that they kicked the conference championship game-winning kick over the weekend. And
I'm gonna try to share that on the screen here.
He is a big boy. Nestor the Foot Higuera went viral over the weekend. 5'5", 285-pound college kicker.
Eric, can you see him?
Oh my God! Yeah,
bro. Feel free to mix in a salad at that team. Wow, is he? Good?
He kicked the game-winning kick.
Okay,
good for 46-yarder. He can't be any worse than whoever's kicking field goals for the Bears these days. So
this season he was 37 of 39 on PATs and 7 of 10 on field goals.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
I say get him into the NFL.
Absolutely.
Isn't this guy the perfect kicker for the Chicago Bears? Like,
for every NFL team.
He earned the nickname. The nickname I saw was he was the thicker.
Yeah, that's good.
I know he was getting some big publicity. He was going on Pat McAfee's podcast today.
The thicker. Yeah, he needs to make a roster in the NFL because that would just be the best thing.
I mean, it's always fun when you see like a lineman like kind of line up to do these things, or like when they hand it off or they make them throw the ball or something. But to have this be like, this is your dedicated position. He's not like a lineman part-time and then kicker because they need him. This is like, no, this is his job on the football team is to kick. And it's funny because when I was in high school, our kicker was actually a very good golfer, and so he would take extra time in the gym and like lift weights to like get the showy muscles that we didn't have time to work on necessarily. And then he would come down the field, and when he was waiting for his turn to kick, he would have like his one of his wedges or like a chipper, and just kind of be practicing golf shots off to the side. And then we'd call him over. He'd do his 5 kicks that he needed to do in practice, and then go home. And it was like, all right, that's a pretty good life. I guess this guy, on the other hand, instead of making chip shots, he's eating chips on the sideline,
salsa and nachos and
all. Hey. As a bigger man myself, more power to you,
Oh yeah, I think that if he can kick, it's kind of surprising we haven't seen this before now, because it's your kicker. You don't need to be able to run fast. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to be able to kick the ball a long way and do it accurately. And if he can do all that at that size, I think that's great. And
if you got to carry around that sort of weight, you get some big, strong legs.
Yeah,
some quads.
Yeah, and on the off chance that there's a run back against him, a return, and he's in the right position, probably gonna have a tough time getting past him a little bit more than you would say against like a little kicker guy, normal kicker guy. So there's that too. A lot of benefit to be had there with the kicking equivalent of the late Jared Lorenzen, as Dennis says. What did they call Jared Lorenzen? The hefty lefty? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
He had a minor league football career that ended up. I got to find this jersey of him because like most football jerseys are pretty standard, right? You know, like he was in the Giants and the Colts, and like those are pretty normal. But then he had the pleasure of playing for. I wish I knew what city this was.
It was somewhere in Kentucky, I think. Like the Kentucky hillbilly shit kickers or something in the
I don't know, but what it did is give you this great image, which you can put up there.
All right, let me see here.
Him playing for a team called the River Monsters.
Right. Where were they? Where the
and the jerseys are green and scaly, so he looks like and he even got the sleeve working. It's really good.
Oh yeah, this guy. I remember this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a fun game to play. Remember that guy?
He was actually pretty decent at Kentucky, if I remember right, when he was in college.
That was in the Continental Indoor Football League.
Do we know the city that the River Monsters were in?
The River Monsters. If I can scroll down to the teams. Well, they never made a championship game, so that's too bad. I just Control F. River Monsters. Northern Kentucky River Monsters, which played in Highland Heights.
No, don't know that.
The Bank of Kentucky Center.
Wow, that sounds like a GTOV site, man.
The Bank of Kentucky Center in Harlan Heights, Kentucky.
Oh, it's considered part of the Cincinnati metro area.
Okay, so that's the west side of Kentucky. That's not the good side. The good side.
I mean, it's the north part.
Yeah,
it's like
the eastern part is the part that everybody thinks of when they think of Kentucky, which is. I don't know if you ever watched the TV show Justified. Have you guys ever seen that?
Oh, I love Justified.
Well, yeah. Well, I just started watching it. I mean, I'd known about it for years, but it's on Hulu now, and I thought I'll give this a look. And I'm watching it. I love it. It's great, but it's because my family's from that area of Kentucky, so I'm watching it for accuracy, and some of it's pretty accurate, some of it's like not even close. But anyway, I don't.
Well, it's TV.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
But yeah, Jared Lorenzen and thicker. You know what I thought of before we started tonight? I wish Andy were here so we could really. I mean, I know he has, but I'm pretty sure we are the first, at least partially vaccinated podcast on the internet right now.
Oh, look at that!
Right,
the very first.
Yeah, the very first. We're gonna claim we are anyway. If we aren't,
I'm excited. So yeah. Just go start walking in malls again.
Did anybody have any reaction to their first shot?
No,
not really. Besides the sore arm.
Like, yeah, I had a sore arm, and like the day after, I was a bit lethargic, but that was about it. Like, I didn't display any of like the horror stories that you hear.
I heard where I saw you, Greg, that you were dealing with a software update.
Yeah. Well, it was. I got the Mac version, so of course they had to immediately do an OS update.
Oh, you got so you got the Mac version of the tracking chip that the government put in you. Okay.
But when it freezes up, I mean, my eyes turn into like the little beach balls, which is kind of cool. So that's
yeah. I mean, you know, like when you try to plug in a new printer and it says, "Oh, driver's not installed."
Yeah.
And, right.
But yeah, I got. I didn't even have. Normally when I get a shot, my arm hurts like hell the next day, no matter what shot it is. It can be a flu shot. Or just any kind of shot that I would get, and I felt like I'd gone out and thrown like both ends of a doubleheader. And so they're like, I'm thinking, well, everybody's talking about the sore arm with this. What's going to be really bad? It didn't bother me in the least.
I had a really sore arm for like a day.
My arm hurt a little bit around where they did the jab, and that was it. Because there was no soreness, no anything, and I was really amazed by that because, as I said, when I get a shot, anytime. No matter what it's for, my arm will hurt like hell for at least a day, and it didn't at all with this. That worried me. I'm like, wow, what if it didn't work or something now? I don't know.
I'm sure you're fine.
Which version did you get?
I got the Pfizer.
And
my girlfriend, now she had a real tough time with it. It knocked her. I wouldn't say it was like like she had problems, like it was like she was sick or anything, but it had some effects on her for 2 days afterwards. Like she was getting chills and body aches and stuff like that. And that was just after the first one. So she's not looking forward to the second one, to say the least. But yeah.
And Andy's on his way, by the way.
What did he say? Oh, God.
Yeah. I said, you coming on today? He said, oh, God. Coming. So Andy will be with us shortly.
Look, sometimes you get a case of the Mondays, right? So.
Yeah, hey, you telling me?
Well, yeah, you know what it is his microchip malfunctioned and he forgot to be here.
His internal clock was still, they didn't update it like
right.
when your oven. When you switch over to DST, you gotta reprogram everything in the house.
Oh God, yeah. No, I just leave. I end up leaving my oven for like 3 months. Like
because I use my phone as the time, or my Apple Watch. Like I have an alarm clock next to my bed, but I use my phone for the alarm, and I just never change the time on the alarm clock. I just know to just only look at the minutes, which I also purposely set 10 minutes ahead of what time it's supposed to be, so I can
So
if I'm not paying attention, I look over oh shit, I gotta get moving.
Which one is the one that everyone wants to get rid of? The one we're on now, or the one before this one? Is this Eastern Standard Time now, or Eastern Daylight Time?
We're in daylight time now.
This is the one nobody wants. They want to go to this one, just keep it the other way all year. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's people want more sunlight all the time. Because it was made as a thing for farmers back in the day. Right?
Well, no, that's a misconception. Actually, farmers lobbied against it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the whole daylight savings time is basically a scam, and nobody likes it. And
what was the reasoning behind it? It was what? There's
energy. Actually, it was
in the 70s, right?
Pardon?
Was it part of that 70s energy crisis thing, right?
Yeah, I believe it was.
The Uniform Time Act of 1966.
Oh, all right, whatever. They fucked everything up. And Andy, welcome aboard.
Hey, guys. Hey, so I heard a rumor that we do podcasts on Monday night, and I just thought I'd pop in.
We will drop in and talk for a little bit, yes.
I'll tell you what I was doing and how I got distracted. So I absolutely was totally just watching or catching up on, I guess, the Marble League.
Yeah,
well, that's a good excuse.
Yeah, big time Marble League person. I've fallen off a little bit, so I was catching up with this year's Marbula 1 races, and was finally just watching the dramatic Misty Mountain Grand Prix for the latest Marbula 1 race. Very, very dramatic, very full of controversy.
Who came out on top?
I believe the Hazers came out on top. It was a very controversial race, though, because I think it was 18 laps. And I'm not going to go through the whole diatribe of what Marble League is and everything right now. But
if you don't know what it is, then you're on the wrong side.
You're missing out. Yeah, and I strangely like life, my sports life. The teams that I like in Marble League all suck. So it's hard to find any success. Anyway, so one of my favorite teams, Team Momo, their racer, I think it was Mimo, was stuck or was in second place, was kicking ass, having a great race. And I think I can't remember which two marbles got stuck on the track, which is a very rare event. And so an emergency marble, which is a safety marble rather, which is a giant ball bearing, is sent out on the course to it will jostle the marbles free to kind of commence the race. But it kept missing the marbles that were stuck. It went around 3 laps before finally they put up a red flag and stopped the race and reset it from the beginning. Now, marble racing is completely fucking random. So even if you're in pole position, it doesn't matter. So with 2 laps to go, they completely reset the field. And my Momo racer, who was second, got absolutely fucked, fell to 13th and clawed back to 8th with 2 laps to go. It was just a complete fuck job. And they're in the running for placing, at least getting a top 3. And this race
smells
really
crooked. This smells crooked.
It's very among the community. It's very hot topic right now, very controversial because this is a very it's a stupid thing. It's marbles racing, and people are very heated about it. And so I was just caught up, and I was watching this kind of soaking it all in, and then I saw Zach's text, and I was like, oh shit! Just ran upstairs and fired the computer. So anyway, I'm here. What have you guys been talking about?
Well, you would ask that.
We talked about spring football.
Talked about a very fat kicker.
Oh, a fat kicker! Yeah,
did you see the thicker over the weekend?
No,
Arizona Christian had a 5'5", 285-pound kicker. That's in the first link that I shared there.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, my.
I'm gonna put it back up.
Kick the game-winning kick of his conference championship game.
The whole page,
holy shit!
There he is.
Yeah, he's a dude.
I'll put him back up. Hold on.
I'm watching the photo of it. Jesus, he's good on him for
There you go.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, see, I'm looking at the same picture. He's a dude. He's very large.
Which transitioned into us talking about. Do you remember the hefty lefty Jared Lorenzen?
I do. Yeah, he was. He had a career. Yeah, the River Monsters, as Dennis points out there. I forgot that he was. Yep. It was kind of funny to see him because I think he actually gained weight as.
Oh yeah.
He was way big. Because I remember he was on the Giants. He was
Colts, and then
kind of floated around.
Yeah.
He was halfway decent at Kentucky. He was a big kid at Kentucky when he played college ball, but nothing like what we showed in that picture. He was just a big dude. It looked like a tight end playing quarterback.
Did he pass away? I feel like he died.
Yeah, I think so. We referred to him as the late Jared Lorenzen, right?
Okay, yeah, that's right. He passed away. He was young too.
Yeah, well, maybe we shouldn't be celebrating these giant guys playing.
Well, I mean, whatever. I feel like it's not a bad thing to discuss them because I mean, football is played by people of all different body types, and some of these positions can be played by larger guys, and it's
hey, I'm not one to body shame anybody. Anybody can come look at me and know that I have no place to say anything about anybody. But
after I have the baby,
I understand that we're trying to be healthier in the society.
We also talked about the fact that even whether we are or not, we're claiming to be the first vaccinated podcast on the internet right now. So since all four of us have had at least one shot, so we're all vaccinated. So that's us. Safest podcast on the internet at this point.
You can listen and not worry. Your ears will not absorb any sort of pathogen.
You won't be getting the COVID over the 5G, or I don't know how all that stuff works, but.
I was very confused because we were kind of texting this a little bit over the weekend about college football because I completely forgot that college football was even a thing in the spring because of COVID, and I saw Butler tweet out a football uniform thing. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? I thought maybe it was a retweet from last fall, but no, it was a game day tweet. And sure enough, and you guys pointed out, have you guys been following any of the college football from the spring at all?
No, because it's FCS.
Yeah, sure.
It's the level down. It's FCS. I think most of Division 2 and 3, and then the guy that we shared from Arizona Christian, that's NAIA.
Okay,
so it's all the lower levels. Anybody that needs to make money off of football, play already.
This is just degenerate gamblers following this at this point, right?
Which of course means I'm paying close attention.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that it's even around, but I was curious though what you guys. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just thought it was interesting, Andy, that in Marble League Racing, there was a jam considering the Suez Canal situation.
Oh yeah, very topical. Yeah. It took me. Go ahead.
They finally dislodged it today. Actually,
did they really?
So, yeah.
Early this morning.
Yeah.
Our time. Yep.
Yeah, they're what 200, 300 ships trailing behind now. They're just.
Yeah.
Well, now you've thrown off all sorts of concepts with that.
I was hearing a lot of jokes about how we should just be going around the Cape of Good Hope like God intended. Like,
as citizens of the internet, have you ever seen the history of the world video?
Yes.
A long one with like all the non sequiturs and like colors and songs.
Yes.
No, but I want to see it now.
It's like 25 minutes of like a fever dream of like the history of the planet.
Oh god.
But it's pretty great because like, and so the clip that I saw was like, oh, trying to find a way around Africa, and little clip. It's funnier if you've seen it. Anyway,
clearly, yeah, I have no idea. Sorry,
it's fine. I
want to see it. I do want to see it because I love anything that makes me, go, yeah, this is the way it should be.
Yeah, it basically sums up all of the history of the planet from the time that the sun, the sun formed until whenever the video came out. So, in about 25 minutes. So you get to.
Well, that's a pretty abridged version of things, I would guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. Speaking of great moments in the history of our planet,
this could go in a million different directions.
The union of the XFL and CFL, right?
No, it was the big sports story of last week was in our fair little NHL, with something that we all knew was happening. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, right, is that as a hockey fan, I knew that shit was going on. Like, I've known that shit forever. Like,
everybody does.
Everybody, like, it's like you see a call that you see like a missed call early in the game. Of course, they try to make it up later on, right? So,
I would be when I played baseball and softball. If I was a catcher and they would blow like a strike call, I'd be like, I'll get it. I'll get it back for you. This was at that level they were doing it. And then softball, they miss a play at first base. Don't worry, I'll get you one later. I mean, come on. But like I told Zach, all that aside, it's still a bad look when the whole world hears them do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is just sort of a situation where it's like if you are equipped with a mic, assume it's hot and just
never say anything into a live mic that you don't want the whole world to hear.
And every mic is live.
Every mic is live. Yep.
I feel like there's, you could say it's a minor league thing that the ref, it's like, this bush league guy got caught doing this at that pro
I mean,
level.
it is the NHL, so.
Well, but I feel like it is.
Keep in mind, I just want to say, keep in mind, at one point, this league's top draft pick went to team to be determined. So.
Yes, great mighty franchise, that one. But there's something so petty about the uproar that occurred with that. I feel like because when it came out, it was I felt it was just more embarrassing than anything like controversial.
Yeah.
But then I feel like I think it's more of an outsider thing as the like more mainstream media got a hold of it and sort of was like, oh, my pearls. It got kind of out of hand.
You want to know what I think? Contributed to that. The fact that Nashville was involved and their fans are literally the worst and act and are not afraid to act like a bunch of victims.
No, I think you've got a league that any league really, if you have a situation like that, and we all know anybody that follows sports should not even be a little bit surprised by this. But when it gets out for the whole world to hear like that, you can't have any sign of whether it be real or perceived impropriety in a professional sports league.
Especially
the NHL reacted the way it did. Like, we've got to cut this off right now and not come out with no, we do this all the time, even though everybody knows we do it all the time. We can't say we do it all the time because then you know where the pearl clutching, media assholes are going to go with it. The next thing is like, are all NHL games rigged? And that's just where we end up. And
right. And I think that's the thing that the NHL was trying to jump on, because they are in particular one of the leagues that's trying to make a push to make their sport more gambling friendly. And if you have that sense of, we all know the referees kind of have a bigger impact on hockey than most sports because they literally take a player off the field for 2 minutes at a time to give the other team an advantage. But if there was a situation where like you knew that a referee had a vendetta against a specific team and was like, I'm gonna want to call a penalty against them, but it's not even. But like, but that's what the outsider thinks. Again, anybody that's followed the NHL for any sort of length of time, you know that there isn't a vendetta against a specific team. The vendetta is against the idea of impropriety, because what the referees do, instead of calling everything on one team, they do their best to call it on both teams, but not like get the same call both ways, but even up the call.
Well, even it up, or if they, they realize they missed a call earlier, they'll try to make it up later in the game. Like
it's why we get why when somebody gets called for diving, the other player still gets called for hooking or tripping or something.
Yeah,
it's like, well, if he was embellishing it, then he didn't necessarily commit the penalty, did he? But okay. Or the same reason that, both guys go off in a fight, or they just give roughing both ways or whatever. It's
But yeah, the league couldn't just let it hang there and not. I mean, they had to address it. They had to.
And it just so happened that it was a referee that was retiring in 2 months.
Right, that helped. That really helped.
But I mean, and he was not liked either. I mean, Tim Peel was not exactly.
He was notoriously a very bad referee. That helps.
Still, I mean, the guy did. He was what 1,200 games. He got done a ton of hockey. And
he was going to retire. 1,334 games. Do you know how many Stanley Cup Finals he reffed? 0.
Either way,
it's merit based, right? To get to the final,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Regardless, I feel like it's pretty shitty to have his career end this way, and I hope that he at least gets some sort of reinstatement to where it's like, here you're reinstated, now you're retired.
Well, that's the thing. He's not banned. He wasn't fired. They just said we're not going to assign him to any games the rest of the year.
They're basically sticking him behind the desk for the remainder of his time.
I'm sure he'll still get paid and everything. I mean, like I said, the league knows that this goes on. We all know it goes on. And
anyone who's watched a hockey game knows this. So.
A game,
yeah.
Period, I mean, it's what did he say exactly? Like I had to call one early on.
Oh, he's like, I wanted to call one on Nashville.
He said, and I quote, if I could find it, I just had it. It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a fucking penalty on Nashville early.
I love hockey.
The thing that's weird about this is that it came out like the next day that not only did he say this on a live mic, he said this while talking to a Nashville player. Well, so he was like telling the Nashville guy, like, I wanted to call a penalty on you. So it wasn't even like talking to another referee or talking to the score. Like he was talking to the team that he called the penalty on. Like
the only thing that could make this better is if he said it into the mic that broadcasts it to the arena when they announce penalties.
Might as well have.
Well, I mean, there wouldn't be anybody there.
True. So. Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know if there's anybody in Nashville. It doesn't matter. And then the thing that was kind of curious is that I think it was on, because that happened on like Tuesday, and then on Friday there was a clip that came out of a referee. He was starting to talk to a player, and as he started to talk to him, he put his hand up over his collar to cover his microphone.
Oh boy!
I mean, sure.
These guys don't want to get caught now.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about cops turning off their body cams here. I mean,
right.
It shouldn't be given like these escalating steps toward controversy. It's a very fast game that unfortunately kind of needs these things to, occasionally level the playing field. I'm of the opinion that if, hockey referees want to kind of perform this tightrope walk of giving, making up for a bad call, miscall, etc., that's fine. But I am more of the when my conspiracy tinfoil hat shit comes in is for big nationally televised games, playoff games, huge implications where it's that is a very convenient penalty at a very convenient time or inconvenient time. This stuff where it's that whole the league called this one in, they want us to make this one a tight game. That's my that's to where I get spooked out. It doesn't happen as often as
here's the thing. I never really have that problem because even when it looks like it's questionable in a very convenient situation, because I just remember the NHL's incompetent, and if they tried to fix a game, like it would probably backfire on them in the most spectacular fashion.
That's right.
Like, have you guys ever seen like an NFL game, especially like in the playoffs, where you go, "Wow, okay," where it's just like that. Just, I mean, to me, and again, I'm not one to put on my tinfoil hat either, but I know that bring back the vet on the boards. He's really. I think they do this and blah blah blah. Sometimes I go, I can't find.
I would sooner believe the NFL is capable of pulling this off than the goddamn NHL.
But the NFL, I've never had a feeling in the NFL that they have makeup calls necessarily.
Because I think sometimes
they certainly do. Yeah.
Sometimes, but it doesn't feel like it's as much of a like mandate as the NHL referees go out of their way to make it like they would love to have every game where they call 2 penalties on both teams.
Right.
They never want it to be a situation where they have 5 on one and like none on the other. Where in the NFL, there are plenty of games where you see it's like they're calling holding on this team every single time. But like I can't think of too many times where like there's like a PI that maybe wasn't, and then they call to even it up, they call a non-egregious one against the other team too.
No, like, no, you're right with that. I agree. I mean, I think they do like maybe a holding here, an offsides there, whatever. But to do like a straight up makeup call, like, okay, we botched an interference call here, so we're going to make it up over here. You don't see a lot of that. At least I don't.
And that's what the NHL does. The other thing that they do is that like when it's the final 2 minutes of a game or it's overtime in the playoffs, you have to either literally murder someone in the middle of the ice or flip the puck over the glass for an automatic penalty.
Yeah, which they're trying to get rid of, by the way, because nobody likes it.
But like I think almost more than in other sports, they literally just say, no, we're not going to call anything.
Oh, I mean, and you know what? It's gotten, I shouldn't say better, but like you see more of it in the last 10 years or so. When I would watch hockey back in the 80s, like when the Islanders and the Oilers, I mean, it was like, dude, you knew if it was a close game and a tight series in the third period, they were swallowing those whistles, and that was it. It was just going to go how it went, and that was the way it was going to be. And you had to like basically maim someone to even get them to look up. I mean, it was great because it was just wild, great hockey. But yeah, it's actually that aspect of the NHL has improved some, but they still
back in the days when they had only the one referee, and if he was looking the other direction, you could just murder someone behind the play.
I mean, and Don Cherry, because we'd get CBC, they would talk about it like they're going to swallow their whistles now, and that's exactly what would happen. And then, God forbid, in overtime, you had to be bleeding out for them to even get, like to blow the whistle to stop play. For fuck's sake, it was so that's a little bit better.
I do like it when referees just kind of collectively, whether it's it is this accidental or like intentional, to where it's just like, guys, I don't feel like blowing the whistles today. Some
of the best hockey, in my opinion, that I've seen have been those, and it's usually in a big televised game or a playoff game or a Stanley Cup final game, where you'll go like maybe 5 to 10 minutes without a whistle, and it's. And you go, and I guess someone who's not familiar with hockey would be like, "Oh, they must be letting so much dirty shit go." Not really, no.
Well, you've always got the question of whether you're going to get caught or not, so you can't be too blatant about it.
Yeah, you can't be, but like one, in those situations where you might have like a 5 to 10 minute stretch where they don't call, where they don't blow the whistle. It is some of the. That is sort of like hockey in its purest form, where it's like, this is what I'd show someone to try to get them into the sport.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I love a good 6-7 minute stretch without a whistle. That's just great flow of play. Like that's again, like you said, it shows off the beauty of the game. But there's also games where you're like, you see stuff happen, you're like, that's not a penalty.
Yeah.
or you see that happen where it's like, that's not a penalty. They're gonna
they'll
give us one in 2 minutes.
Or you go to like back when live games were a thing, if the home team gets, if someone cross-checks the home team and it's not called, then the fans will let that it should have been a penalty.
Here's a offbeat question about penalties, because I don't know if it's something that's regularly been discussed, but I think it's something that's come up in like recent GM meetings or rules discussions. Back in the day, the early days of the original 6, when a penalty was called, they were all essentially major penalties, unreleasable.
Okay.
So even a 2-minute infraction, even if you scored, you were still on the power play for the full 2 minutes.
Wow.
They took that out of the game because the Montreal Canadiens were too goddamn good. they scored on whatever 90% of their power plays, and they just kept pumping them in with Richard and
Beliveau
and whatever.
So the Canadiens get a 2-minute penalty and score average 3 goals for every 2 minutes.
Basically, yeah.
Right. And so then they changed to a thing where they could release it. In this new day of where scoring is up and the players are more skilled than ever, and to try and I'm trying to discourage players from taking more penalties than they do now. What would you think about bringing that sort of thing back? The 2-minute unreleasable penalty.
I've heard it bandied about before, and I kind of like the idea because it fits more in line with what it's supposed to be, right? Which is if your team gets called for a penalty, you lose that player for 2 minutes. The whole idea is that you're being punished. Your team's being punished for the penalty.
You go to the box, you feel shame.
Yeah, exactly. They play the Phantom of the Opera music, and you feel bad. The thing that always kind of, and even as a little kid, not to say this is something that I've always obsessed with, but even as a little kid, I kind of always, the back of my head, there was always kind of that thought of well, why do they let the guy out of the box when the team scores? If the team did a bad thing and they're being punished for it, shouldn't they have to be down the full 2 minutes? That is the idea of punishment, right? So,
well,
I do see the logic in keeping the 2 minutes, keeping the player in there for the full 2 minutes, regardless of if anyone scores.
So, I mean, as I say, so majors though work that way though, correct? So it would be a 2-minute major,
right?
Yeah,
major, instead of a 5.
Yeah.
All
right. What were we going to say?
5-minute majors are completely unreleasable. Yeah.
Right.
What's the most goals you've ever seen scored in a 5-minute major?
Oh my God! I mean, it was that the San Jose Vegas Game 7 from 2 years ago.
Right, that was crazy.
Vegas was up 2 or 3 goals late, and the Sharks scored 3 goals on the 5-minute power play to take the lead, and then Vegas tied it, and then they went into overtime, and the Sharks won.
The Sharks taught Vegas a thing about sharking in that game.
That was the day they took their first step towards being an actual NHL.
A real, it's Vegas fans. Do you see this?
Yeah,
this is what life is. This is what life in the NHL is like. So,
pain.
I want to say I could swear I saw one time where they scored 4 goals, but I don't remember. It wasn't a playoff game or anything. I think it was just a game I was watching, and I don't remember. I think the Kings were involved for some reason. Don't quote me on that, but I could swear I saw.
When they played the Devils, they got the 5-minute major early on in the period in the game they clinched, and I think they might have scored 3 or 4 on that. I think
okay, so I'm not remembering that wrong or anything. Then that may have actually happened.
I'm sure Dennis will come in and glorify it here in a second. So
it was the greatest athletic achievement in the history of the National Hockey League.
No, but going back to making it a 2-minute major, what if you were given a choice? Okay, you can go, say,
it is 4 goals. 4 is the most. So when the Sharks did that against Vegas, that was tying a record.
When was the 4 goals? When did that happen? Does it say?
I can.
Or maybe I looked it up one time, and that's why I remember it that way.
The Blues did it against the Kings in 1998. The Leafs did it against the Thrashers in 2011. The Islanders did it to the Red Wings in 2018, and then the Sharks did it to Vegas.
It might have been
the Thrashers. Wow.
Might have been. I might have been watching a game and just thought, wonder how many goals. But then I looked it up, and that's how I remembered it.
By the way, I'm still disappointed that Winnipeg's reverse retro jersey isn't the single sleeved Thrashers jersey. Missed opportunities, NHL, but
But anyway, back to the thing about the 2-minute major, we'll call it. What if they were given an option? Okay, you can do, I don't know, a minute and a half. No, that's too. That's like a minute major where you can score as many goals as you can. But that's really not enough time. I'm trying to think of a way where like you can have the choice, like, okay, you can either like do a longer penalty kill under normal circumstances, or you can do this where you got a chance of giving up 3 goals, but it's shorter. But I don't see a time frame that it works really.
Yeah,
a minute's not enough. You're not going to get a couple goals in a minute very often.
I mean,
in the conversations about it, I've heard people try to say, what about 1 minute for something, or maybe you give it different levels. Like you do have a 2 minute unreleasable, but if it's a little bit more egregious, you do the 2 minute major. But then that's when we get back to the start of the discussion. I think that is giving a little bit too much discretion to the referees in terms of dictating how this game is going to go. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see there, exactly what I said. If you get Dennis enough time, he'll tell you about it.
Oh, by the way, just to reinforce a point Zach made earlier, if you go to the NHL's website and you go to schedule, the drop-down menu will show you an ad, NHL betting lines powered by BetMGM.
There you go.
Which, they've got a team in Vegas, so that makes sense, I suppose, but still.
Yeah, I mean, every league is trying to get on that because they just see that there's too much money to be made.
Yeah.
I think
there's
almost all the major leagues have signed like the official, not necessarily gambling partner, but it's like they signed deals to allow. I know the NFL and the NHL have signed with, I think, Caesars to allow them like some proprietary information that they could use in their betting lines. Well, all this stuff will end up in an app that you can use at some point. So,
the NHL got rid of team-specific apps now. It's all run through the NHL app, which is hot garbage. But that's the point.
Very bad.
I wonder. Well, you mentioned the original 6 games and the Canadiens and how just devastating they were. I wonder if the strategy at the time was just shoot the puck at the fucking goalie's face and like. Eventually, after they've killed a couple guys, the other team's down to their like 4th emergency goalie who just has never played before.
Yeah, there is a discussion to be had at some point by somebody, and I know it's happened. I'm sure at many of a Canadian pub of if the 70s, 60s, 70s Canadiens played in today's NHL, would they be nearly as good? And it's the answer is probably no. They'd be good. They wouldn't be what they were.
I mean, I mean, at the same time, and I've said this before, different discussions, same sort of theme. You can't compare players or even teams cross era, right? Because there's too many variables.
That far.
You're like 40, 50 years. Like, come on.
These guys wouldn't smoke cigarettes between shifts back then.
Right. They wouldn't take the ice if there was a black.
Guy LaFleur was smoking on the bench. So.
They'd be like looking at the stands, being like, "Why are all these Negroes allowed to attend these games?"
Hey!
I'm just saying.
Was Canada. We didn't do that. Thank you very much.
But think about all you have to do is think of who is like the worst big goalie that you can think of in the league right now. Like, is it a Mike Smith? Is it a Devin Dubnyk? It doesn't really matter. You take any of these tall ass goaltenders right now and stick them 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they'd win the Vezina every year. They'd let in like 2 goals a season. Like it's not even the same thing.
So it's one of these things where it's like if you're and you're absolutely right, Zach. I've heard many of this discussion at many a Canadian pub, but my response to all of it has always been like, you can't compare cross eras. You have to you can only really compare teams and players against who they played against. Because then you start going, it's like, well, why is it even named the Vezina? George Vezina wouldn't today. And it's like, yeah, George Vezina played 100 years ago. Shut up. Like
he just happened to be the best goalie when they named the trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been the Darcy Kemper Trophy one year.
Lord, that's the darkest timeline.
Or the Mike Smith, for that matter. But no, what I was going to say is the only real argument you might be able to make in favor of the original 6 era is that you knew that they were the cream of the crop hockey players, because there were 6 teams. But as we pointed out, they were also like smoking cigarettes on the bench. They weren't nearly as well conditioned, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that's the only argument you could really
make. The way they got their players was much different than today. Where like they were assigned to regions, right? And so That's why the Canadians were also so goddamn good, is because they got
and also why the original Miami original 6 team went nowhere because there were no hockey players in Miami.
Well, it is actually funny you talk about conditioning. When Conn Smythe was alive, apparently he put the Maple Leaf players through hell back in like the 40s and 50s, and the dude was a World War I sergeant. So like he was like there are pictures. I remember distinctly. I had like a history of the Maple Leafs book as a kid, and they had pictures in it of like guys in full pads, sweaters, everything, like doing push-ups on gravel in the middle of the summer. And it's like, Jesus. So it seems that back in the day, conditioning had like 2 extremes. Either it was like torturous and inhumane, or it was literally like you're smoking on the bench.
Yeah, and like to use baseball is a perfect example of this. They go, like Babe Ruth was the greatest of all time. It's like he was a great player, no question about it, but I cannot give him that title because he played in an era where he didn't have to face Satchel Paige, didn't have to compete with Josh Gibson or Cool Papa Bell or Buck Leonard or Buck O'Neill or any of those guys. It was a segregated league, so you've always got to put that. The point being, every era has its thing that makes it impossible to compare to another era. And Mike's exactly right with that. The only thing I would say is that, like in the 60s, baseball, there wasn't expansion, so you would probably have to be a little bit better to play at the major league level than maybe you do today. But other than that,
but even then, though, accounting for that, where it's like, oh, there's more teams, so the talent pool is a bit more diluted. And that's all true, but like at the same time, the conditioning that these guys go through is insane these days.
Well, not only that,
except if you the only difference is if you took today's Baltimore Orioles and put them in 1920, they'd still lose.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I've
but I was just gonna say about that. Like when we got the Rockies and what was it? The Rockies and Marlins, the first expansion, not the most recent one, but the one before
in the 90s. Yeah.
Rockies, Tampa Bay, right?
No, it was the Rockies and Marlins, and then it was the Rays and the Diamondbacks.
I was going to say Devilbacks. Jesus, Diamondbacks.
The Devilbacks and the Diamond Rays.
But my point is that at that time, I don't know that you could make the argument that there were not 50 guys that were good enough to play Major League Baseball to add 2 more teams. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, let's be honest. At that point, did we have the very best, and the next guy, like the worst guy, the last guy cut from the worst team, was not capable of playing Major League Baseball? So, you can just go round and round in circles with this stuff, I guess is my point. But anyway, go ahead.
I just want to let you guys know we have breaking news.
Show. Wait, hold on a minute. Well, I usually have a sound effect for that, but I don't feel like messing with it. So go ahead.
The NFL's Buffalo Bills
contracted.
They have they have a new
Swiss rosters with the Sabres.
They have a new stadium name. They were most known for being the Ralph Wilson Stadium for 7 years, from 98 to 2015. They were at New Era Field from 2016 to 2020. And then the last 2 seasons, it has been simply known as Bills Stadium. Well, it is now and it rolls off the tongue here. It is Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium.
Oh.
Yeah. Highmark. Yeah. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium.
That's the appropriate sound effect for that name.
Yeah. It's stupid.
I hate that.
That's a name for a thing. Is that
that's not as bad as the variety of names they've stuck that hellhole in Glendale with, but still.
Is it worse than Dignity Health Sports Park?
Dignity Health Sports Park is a great name for a place to bring your kids to play softball.
Or shuffleboard or whatever you'd like.
Yeah. Nice. Just kind of read quietly, But
get an ice cream cone,
that was all. That's all. This came across hot off the wires, the presses.
Okay.
I was
good for the Bills. Wait. I hope the Pagulas know what to do with all that extra money. They really needed it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe buy a decent hockey team.
What they can do with their extra money is
what was that? A 12-game winless streak?
They hadn't won a game in over a month. Yeah.
If you guys are any of you sneakerheads, by the way?
No, oh god, I know what you're gonna bring up.
No. What is this?
Today's big news has been something, guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am completely out of the loop on sneaker news, so I'm.
Oh, you're gonna
giddy
love
with
these, Mike. You are gonna love these.
Okay.
So, assuming we're all talking about the same thing, there's a rapper, Lil Nas X, I think, right?
Lil Nas X. You know him as the singer of Old Town Road.
Wait a minute, that's not Little Nas the 10th?
No.
Okay.
That'd be much more elegant. So he has taken 666 pairs of the Nike Air Max 97 and made them like look very Satan-like. I'll just share my screen here.
They're black with red accents. They also have a pentagram on the tongue.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And allegedly,
is that a medieval picture of hell on the packaging?
Yes. Yeah, that's because, Mike, in the sole of every shoe is one drop of human blood.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The management team there at Mischief, spelled with no vowels, of course.
Fuck them.
They each took a drop of their own blood and put it onto each one of those.
Well, they can go. They could have given blood to a hospital, or they could have done this. I suppose this is the better thing.
And of course, you see there's a Bible verse on there, Luke 10:18, which I believe, from what
that's
I read,
how much they cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's right though, right? They're like $1,000.
That's how much they cost, but it's also the Bible.
Whoa! These shoes cost over $1,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
How much would you cost somebody for your blood?
I don't know, but I bought shoes like a few months back, and I got them on sale for like $300, and I was happy with that.
Whoa! You paid $300 for a pair of shoes?
They were my first go at Air Jordans, so you know.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good pair of Jordans is.
They were on the discount rack.
How about a nice pair of Skechers while I was in Florida for $38, man? Come on.
So you're just giving money to Tony Romo at that point.
Well,
and Joe Montana.
So but this sneaker. There's so much like drama, interesting. Like
Nike
just
finally
lore.
sued him today.
I was gonna say because these are not like none of this money goes to Nike.
No, because they're Nikes that they purchased and then customized.
Oh, so this isn't a thing that Nike's doing.
No. So, but that's the thing is like because it has the swoosh on it, and because it's sold by a celebrity of some note.
Well, not
right. There are a bunch of people that think that this is some collaboration with Nike, and that Nike is promoting
Satanism.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going on.
Wait a minute. I'm curious. What does Luke 10:18 say? I'm not.
It's the story. It's a piece of the story about Satan when he was an archangel, falling to earth.
Oh, okay.
Okay, says
so. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fell from heaven. Okay.
It's about a music video. He did a music video with the head Satan, him like face humping Satan or something.
Yeah, he gave Satan a lap dance in the music video.
Jeez.
This is just
those are good.
This was a joke response he replied with to be like, God damn, you guys are just pissed at me. So here you go. Here's the next shoe. We'll do it.
I do appreciate the Chick-fil-A logo.
Right.
He's trying to play it off as like, guys, I'm just joking around. Why can't you just have fun?
Right.
Well, because I don't want to pay over $1,000 for Satan shoes with blood in them.
No blood sneakers for you?
No. You know why I don't want blood in my sneakers? Because I'm a normal person.
If I just wanted blood and sweat sneakers, I'd just buy regular Nikes. Right?
Hey.
God.
Well, that's the thing. These are
child labor laws.
These are never going to be worn. No, anyone who buys these will never wear them. They'll never see a pair of.
No, they're going to go in a glass case and be some sort of collector's item, basically. Yeah,
and they're a novelty because, like, I think there is no way in hell that these things appreciate in value. I think because, like, look, all props to Lil Nas X. Old Town Road slapped in our year 2018. or 2019, whenever it graced the summer. He doesn't exactly have like an illustrious career ahead of him with some like Hall of Fame rapper. He is a one-hit wonder, with some novelty appeal, because he's a gay rapper and he's going to do outlandish stuff like this, and he's always going to get attention from someone somewhere, but that doesn't mean that he's going to get famous. Like, in 5 years, will you remember who Lil Nas X is? Probably not.
I'll probably remember.
So I have no idea how anybody that wants. I don't. The first off, they sold out in minutes. Of course,
of course they did.
And I don't understand it. Like, I know there's a whole sneakerhead culture that this is like an entire economy unto itself. This one I don't get.
It fascinates me.
The sneakerhead culture is something that, like, look, I'm not one to judge, because hey, everyone has their thing, but it is one where I'm kind of like, really?
Yeah. Well, like, there's a whole thing with Nike has this app called again, sneakers, but with no vowels. So SNKE.
Why? What is wrong with vowels? Why are people?
It's not hip and tech enough, Mike.
Is this more to do with those fucking Zoomers who think that capitalization is lame?
I'm guessing it has something to do with that.
Something like that. And basically, like, they drop these exclusive or limited edition shoes on there all the time. The only interaction I ever had with it was sometime last year. They released some Kobe Bryant merch that I really wanted to get. It was the Black Mamba jersey with it, with the 8 on the front and a 24 on the back, and I thought, like, that would be something cool to own, and it was only going to be like $110. So I thought, hey, this is something I'd be interested in. Well, the problem was, because it was a thing with Nike specifically, they put it out on the sneakers app, and it sold out in 2 minutes. Yep. Because these things have all these bots that go in and scoop these things up to resell for incredible prices.
And Nike doesn't care, because they're getting money either way.
Nike's getting the money one way or the other, and then those people still sell them because people are still going to buy them, because there's this culture where they are collector's items, and some people might wear them and try to wash them like all the time, but like, they're art pieces. They're
I don't know. I like the idea of buying shoes and then specifically not wearing them blows my mind.
Well, people never thought.
I mean, it's the same
Babies...
people that buy action figures and keep them in the box.
Yeah, I mean,
that also blows my mind.
Yeah, same idea.
I mean, people eventually, certain things will, like, people thought Beanie Babies would never recoup their value after a while because the bubble popped, and that was. But I mean, they're actually worth a pretty penny, right? There's a few that are very, very expensive.
I remember.
Anybody that's been keeping track of, like, the trading card markets, the sports card market has exploded over the last year, and so has, like, Pokemon cards. Those have gone up exponentially in value over the last year. It's incredible. Like, I have stuff in a binder that I look at it like once every 2 weeks to be like, is this the time that I finally sell these things? Because that's a good amount of money I can make off these little pieces of cardboard. But every time I look, the number keeps going up. So it's like, well, why wouldn't I just hold on to it?
I got stuff from, like, this goes way back. I should see how much it's worth now. I'll sell that shit in a heartbeat.
Yeah, the sports card market has had an incredible.
I've got it was a rookie card, Emmitt Smith's rookie year when he was in the Pro Bowl, and last time I checked it, when sports cards are still worth something, it was worth about $25, but it might be, who knows where it's at now. I don't know. I've got
a bunch of hockey cards my uncle gave me. That might be interesting to.
What were you asking, Zach?
Do you remember what company the card was?
Topps, I believe. I'm not sure. It might have been Upper Deck. I'm not sure. I'd have to look and see.
Well, the secondary market for sneakers is just over $1 billion in value. Secondary market.
Secondary market?
Yeah. So, sneakers themselves are like a $60 billion industry.
Holy cow.
1990 Topps Emmitt Smith rookie card, $3,000 if in perfect condition.
Fuck me, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to find somebody. I'm going to sell that bitch right away. I've got a Derek Jeter rookie card. I've got
all these things have to be like in specific sets, and they have to be in decent enough condition, and they have to, there's a bunch of qualifiers that go on these things, as I've learned. But like, there's a card, like a Pokemon card I have, that I know for a fact is worth $2,000, and then if I get my whole collection together, it's worth like over $25,000.
What's the market look like for what's the market look like for Yu-Gi-Oh? Because I've got a ton of those.
See, I thought the same. My problem with my Yu-Gi-Oh cards is I was one of the idiots that actually liked playing the stupid card game. So they're all torn up. They're not torn up, but they've been worn, and I gave them away at some point. I never thought that.
The whole thing is that the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, you could actually understand the rules. I never figured out how to play the Pokemon card game.
Exactly. You can actually play Yu-Gi-Oh. Pokemon was difficult, and so he just say, "I'm just going to put it in the binder and look at it. It's nice."
There's a Yu-Gi-Oh card here. Black Luster Soldier. I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh. It is reportedly valued between 10 and 12 million.
Yeah,
and it was once sold for $2 million.
I might have that. I legitimately am going to say right now, I'm waiting to hear okay, that's something
again. as somebody that's tried to put value on his Pokemon cards over the last year, you have to be very
I don't I don't want to walk in being like. I don't want to walk in being like $1 million, please, and then they're like, this was the 1998 edition. It's practically worthless. It's the 97 edition.
Well, no, that's the thing. So in all my time when I started learning that these Pokemon cards were worth money, I like everybody, or not like everybody, I guess, because there's only so many of them. But I have a holographic base set Charizard, right? Mm-hmm. That's the card.
Oh yeah.
And so the one I have, it's worth a good chunk of change, certainly. But then once I started doing research on it, it's it's the second printing, and it's not, and even of the first printings, it's not the first edition, and of the first editions, it's not. It has to not have a shadow, and you gotta look to make sure the borders are all put together. Yep. So I had all this time, I'm like, do I have a $250,000 card? And it's no, it's actually only worth $5,000, but it's that's still good money.
That's still a lot of money.
but that's the thing. There's a difference between selling something for $200,000 and selling it for $1,000, and those differences are so minuscule that it's hard to know sometimes. So you don't want to be the fool that goes in and makes themselves a Pawn Stars meme.
Yeah.
$2 million, please. I'll give you $5.
Okay.
Then again, Pawn Stars is a load of crap. No, I'm not going to get into that now.
So just to give you an idea of what the resale market and secondary markets for certain things, the U.S. rare coin market, excluding the sale of gold and silver bullion, is estimated to be worth $4 billion. The sneaker resale market is valued at $2 billion, which is expected to triple in size within 5 years, by the way. It looks like $5.4 billion is the value for sports card and memorabilia markets, but the global art market is $64 billion. It's just that's the I have a rare painting that is painted with giraffe piss, and they just sell it for whatever anyone will pay for it.
I got some Thomas Kincaids. What's that worth?
I got a couple of those too.
I like Thomas Kincaid. I don't know,
my girlfriend loves this stuff. It's nice. It's very calming to look at.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen Thomas Kincaid came out with a Star Wars collection.
Wow.
Years ago. It's pretty funny.
I need to see this.
They're pretty good. I've lobbied for one in our new apartment, and it's never going to happen.
Just I would like it above the couch.
in a future world where I have an office with a mahogany bookcase and
I'm looking at these now. This is beautiful.
Like a globe in the corner that you open up and it has all your whiskeys and whatever. I would have this hanging on a wall.
This is beautiful.
What am I looking for here?
Thomas Kincaid Star Wars. I'm gonna send you a link shortly.
I had this great idea one year because my girlfriend used to really be into his stuff, and I was one year I'm okay, they had this place up by Cleveland that sold all of his work. Most of it's just lithograph prints, and they had this one that was actually, it wasn't an original, but it was painted like a painting copy where it actually looked like paint and stuff. I'm well, that'd be perfect. I went up, I said, how much is that? They go $4,600.
Yeah, right.
And it was painted by some guy named Bob. You know, it's like no, I'm not giving you that. But yeah, that's so. I don't know what an actual Thomas Kincaid original would be worth, but it'd be a lot. I would get.
Dennis points out, I wonder if Pogs are worth anything nowadays. A Jurassic Park 6-Pog hologram set with slammers, roughly valued at $1 million. So
Dennis is now digging through his drawers in his home.
He's digging through his drawers, and then it's going to come out that his wife, tossed that shit away.
That's the whole set and the slammer. However, the second most valuable one apparently is this Stussy Pog, which is worth $200.
Okay, so here we go.
$1 million to $200.
Here you go. I'm sharing this link. Thomas Kincaid, my favorite Thomas Kincaid Star Wars from what I can see so far.
I got to see this.
Right,
there you go.
No, so that one's fake, Mike. The one I sent is like the actual one that they made.
Oh, okay. Oh, the one I sent.
Okay.
Andrew, you grabbing these? You want me to?
Yeah, I got it. So let's go ahead.
I love the idea that there's like now knockoff Thomas Kincaid Star Wars though.
Yeah, no, that was like a good internet fun. But this is
so what am I looking at here? Here's
holy shit.
Oh, it didn't take you directly to the Star Wars one?
Oh, no, Star Wars.
Justice League Thomas Kincaid, for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a lot of genres. I'm sure the Star Wars.
PC superhero fine art.
Star Wars. There we go. Okay.
Disney. Yeah.
I mean, what's so special about these? What am I looking for?
They're Thomas Kincaid, but they're Star Wars.
They're Star Wars.
They look kind of mediocre. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's Thomas Kincaid, so
yeah, but his actual stuff's way better than this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not.
They
call him the painter of light, and he's really good at doing like if you like a Christmas scene.
Yeah, see,
basically it's cabins in the wood.
Right.
These look great.
That kind of stuff. That's what he's famous for. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like cabins in the woods with like light peeking through the trees. That's what Thomas Kincaid does.
Not only are we the only vaccinated podcast on the air, we're probably the only one with 4 males talking about Thomas Kincaid painting.
Thomas Kincaid, I like his stuff. Like, it's not amazing, but I like it.
It's nice. It's comforting. It's
yeah.
Nice. I clicked on the Mandalorian collection and I kind of like the Baby Yoda one.
Is that the one you're going to put above the couch when your girlfriend's out of town for a moment?
No, that's I need to be kept away from that website. I will accidentally spend money on something that I will. Speaking of things that we regret, do we have GTOV results?
Yes, we do. Would you like to? Should I play the intro or should we just hop right in here?
You guys we can just hop on in. I guess.
Oh, here I know what we can do. This is always easier and faster, and won't take me nearly as long to find. Here we go. All right. Okay, so here we go from the was the Sweet 16 of the Glorious Tournament of Victory. I forget which. Oh, this is Andy's region, I believe. First, so we've got I can't say his name. Aztec God of Corn.
Yeah, Chodel.
Taking on Walmart Turkey Fucker on Twitter.
No, I feel like the Turkey Fucker will probably win this matchup, but I feel like the overwhelming consensus that it is like a shoe-in is not this. I feel like the hype just isn't there because I think people are just as disgusted and offended by his existence. But I don't know. Maybe he fell to the God of Corn. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you can go against a Turkey Fucker. Like, God of Corn. All right, you're the god. Whoop-de-doo. I can buy a 12-pack.
In a Volkswagen, come on.
Yeah, I can buy a 12-pack at the same wall of corn at the same Walmart that guy fucked a turkey in front of.
I mean, was it even close? Or
no, it wasn't even close. The Walmart Turkey Fucker and the second biggest blowout of the tournament so far, 21-3.
Wow. Fuck me.
Turkey Fuckers, I tell you what, I'm going to say it right now. The Turkey Fucker is the thing to beat in this tournament right now. I really believe that. Another one of my favorite entries, Stalin Ape Human Super Soldier Hybrid, taking on Andy Reid Pocket Burger. Pretty good match.
I think this is a close one. I really can't. I really don't have a feeling as to how this one would go.
The Pocket Burger. It's basically you pick the charming jovial nature of Andy Reid and his pocket hamburger, or you go with the kind of theoretical abomination formed by the Soviet Union. So
look at it this way. Look at it this way. Even if the Chiefs lose to a team of Stalin's ape-human hybrid soldiers, Andy Reid's still going to eat that pocket burger.
He's eating that pocket burger no matter what. Period.
What do the people do, Greg?
Well, the finals, it was a pretty close match, but Stalin ape-human hybrid super soldier with a close win over Andy Reid's pocket burger. 14-10 was the final in that.
Respectable.
So,
respectable.
Very respectable.
Sure.
Moving on to the Sentinel Prime Memorial Region of Excellence, we have another good match. The always changing QAnon plan taking on the Dan Snyder drones. I will say that early on, one of these entries had the early lead, but the other one came back to get the win. So that will give you that information to work with.
I'm going to say that the Dan Snyder drones won.
Okay.
I think QAnon is malleable enough to have overtaken the Snyder drones. Plus, Snyder was kind of unpopular this week in the news because he bought out the remaining ownership of the team in Washington. So I think people might have spite voted against him just to kind of get some, against old Dan Snyder.
Again, let's not forget the voting block that came out for Mike's bracket last week.
Yes, good point.
Well, for some reason, I've attracted the alt-right.
The furry, weird,
extremist reactionary vote.
So I'm going to lean in on QAnon plan.
Zach would be correct.
All right.
Dan Snyder drones jumped out to an early lead, but then the always changing QAnon plan came back and won. Not handily, but in a reasonably close match, 14-10. I was surprised by that because it looked like Dan Snyder drones was going to take it all week long, and then I don't know.
14-10. So on let's see, on April 1st at 1 in the afternoon.
President Trump will reassert command of the Republic and save America.
Yeah, if you give us 20 minutes, we come up with a really good plan for how that worked out. I really believe we could. And it would make every bit as much sense as any plan these idiots come up with. And up next in Mike's region, the Nazi furries taking on Thunder Bay Ram. Thunder Bay Ram, the Team Justice in Mike's region.
I'm going with Thunder
Ram.
I'm going with Thunder Bay Ram because Thunder Bay Ram is innocent and he's jovial and he's good. All right. Yeah. And everything else in my region, I don't know what I was thinking, but the rest of my region turned into a horror show, and I need to root for Thunder Bay Ram to get out of this clusterfuck.
Even the purest of hearts can be turned, Mike.
I mean, in an ideal world, I guess not in an ideal world, but from a matchup, from a ratings perspective, you want the furries and the QAnon plan to battle it out,
Yeah.
But from this dignity perspective, the Thunder Bay Ram, which is just honestly just a catchy name, I would totally root for the Thunder Bay Rams. Just from the purity standpoint, I really hope it gets to go at least one more round. You want to have a kind of light versus dark here, battle between good and evil, the Thunder Bay Ram versus the evil of QAnon. So I don't know. I'm bracing myself to be disappointed.
We're not going to get the dream TV matchup of Nazi furries versus QAnon plan. Thunder Bay Ram with an easy win, 15-9 to take the win.
Oh, thank God.
Very good.
Move on to take on
all according to QAnon's plan.
Yeah, so this ought to be a good one. You've got your light and dark matchup right there. This is good.
I really need I need the Thunder Bay Ram to make it to the Final Four at least. I feel good about life.
It all depends on if Mike's voting block shows up, we're in trouble, I think.
We'll see. Yeah.
I find it hilarious. I mean, I'm Jewish, people.
That's the thing. That's the
why are y'all coming to me?
Mike, they want mine with the space laser.
That's what makes it so fucking perfect, Mike. Okay. What it means to be a Cleveland Brown region. The Legend of Cocaine Bear taking on Chimp Kiss Tribute Band.
I got to go with the Chimp Kiss Tribute Band. He was those chimps are unstoppable in the first round. So I have no reason to believe that they are going to slow down.
Yeah, I feel like the novelty and the familiarity, the comfort vote would go to the chimp cover band. I feel like that's, more or less where, I think the hearts of GTOV listeners would bend to in a matchup like this.
They were so dominant in the first round, I have to imagine that continued.
Well, we've seen it happen before, guys, where a team comes in and kicks butt in the first round and goes out easily in the second, and that's what happened here. Legend of Cocaine Bear with an easy win over Chimp Kiss Tribute Band, 15-9.
The Chimp Conference looked to be shaking some narratives, but looks like they're falling right back into it.
They're just the Big East all over again now.
Well, to be fair, Chimp Kiss Tribute Band was kind of like the alternate in a way. When you think about the incredible run that the baboon with his harem,
right?
That one was a feel good story, and it I think it really stole a lot of the like monkey crowd. Like old hat.
I think too that people. This is the 9th year that we've had an entry from the Chimp Conference, and I think people might just be getting a little tired of them. That's fine too.
It really depends, because I feel like if you had a really good chimp situation, chimp entrant, that kind of it makes the imagination work. Then I feel like it would be more popular. But we're also we've had a very weird tournament this year with a lot of bizarre entries.
Speaking of which, let's move on to the next matchup in my region. A classic here, John Dillerman and his magical penis or super penis taking on Made in Mexico Golden Trump Idol.
I gotta go with Made in Mexico Golden Trump Idol. It's more recent. It's in people's minds more.
Okay.
I mean, I can't go against the stupid
Danish cartoon.
Danish cartoon.
I think if there's one match at all in here for Walmart Turkey Fucker, I just got to say, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but John Dillerman versus Walmart Turkey Fucker would be, I think if that happens, we in the GTOV right then and there after that match is over and go. It'll never get better than that. Never.
I'm going to go with the Trump statue just because it fits in the GTOV theme of just like, this is a weird abstract thing that just exists for some reason.
Shiny.
Yeah, it's just kind of an odd amalgam of things that occurred, and I feel like it probably eked out one over the odd cartoon with peanut.
Anybody else?
Certainly not.
Okay, the matchup from hell is still on the boards, guys. John Dillerman and his super penis takes the win, 14-10 over Made in Mexico Golden Trump Idol. So,
okay.
The nightmare or the dream, depending on how you see it, continues. And finally, in the goddamn Batman Memorial region, Shrek Butt Toothpaste versus Windows Updates. In our first matchup.
I got to go with Windows Update.
Okay.
Yeah, Windows Update, I feel like, is the more...
It's more universal.
It's the more imposing fad. I feel like the Shrek Butt Toothpaste is almost... I feel like people would... I guess it just depends on how people want to vote. If they're like voting for what would be like the most annoying or most like overpowering, then sure, like Windows Updates would probably win. But if they want something wistful and kind of pleasant and cheerful and random, then sure, Shrek pooping toothpaste is that's nice. Fine, that's a nice thing. I think it was. I'm guessing it was a close vote. Was it a close?
About the same as all the other ones, actually.
Like
it was
14-10.
It was only other than Walmart Turkey Fucker, who just threw up a blowout. Everything else is reasonably close throughout the whole thing, all around.
Yeah, I got to ride with Shrek Butt Toothpaste. It's the weird thing that this tournament needs.
It might be, but it's not going any further. Windows Updates takes it 14-10, another 14-10 score. So Windows Updates will move on to play the winner of Papa John's Racism Rehab or Cats the Snyder Cut.
A true heavyweight battle.
Yes, it is.
Cats the Snyder Cut. That's a monster. I don't see anything.
I love that entry. I think it's great, but we've gotten tweets telling us that in all worlds, it can't ever be the Cats. So I don't know. We'll see.
So I think
I can't pick between my children.
I feel like the Snyder Cut might have had some momentum because people probably had the time to actually sit down and watch the 4-hour 4x3 Snyder Cut this past week and kind of apply that experience to Cats. But the whole like Papa John's racism thing, I feel like it just kind of it sits on the brain a little bit more. And I feel like that people might have been like, yeah, let's see what the fuck this will do if they vote for it. You know, it's kind of like that thinking. Like, let chaos reign kind of a sentiment.
Well, and another 14-10 score, Papa John's Racism Rehab takes out Cats the Snyder Cut.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's getting weird around here, folks.
So
Thunder Bay Ram.
Your Elite Eight will look like this. Our first matchup will be Papa John's Racism Rehab taking on Windows Updates. In my region, it will be John Dillerman and his Super Penis taking on the Legend of Cocaine Bear. Mike's region, Thunder Bay Ram takes on the always changing QAnon Plan. And Stalin Ape Human Hybrid Super Soldier taking on who's right now the runaway favorite, Walmart Turkey Fucker on Twitter. So there's your and we will post those and you can vote for them in the next day or so. And wow, what a tournament. I think this one's really got a real GTOV spirit to it. It's very bizarre. It's just one of the weirder ones we've had in a while, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, you never want to have a GTOV that's boring, you know. And
no,
I feel like we haven't had. Maybe I honestly don't remember. They're all fun to me, but you know, from at a glance, the GTOV can have results that just kind of sometimes disappoint. But this one is just sort of played out so just unusually.
Yeah, like a lot of times, like the first and second, maybe even to the second round, it'll be really good, and then it just kind of falls into like a not that great mode. But this one's got potential for some really bizarre matchups, which will be good.
Come on, Thunder Bay Ram.
Right. Yeah, I think everybody has got at least one remaining entry in their bracket that has a shot at winning the whole thing. I don't know who's going to beat Walmart Turkey Fucker, but you got John Dillerman. I think that I think Papa John's Racism Rehab is going to make a run here because it's just like Andy said, it's just one of those things that just kind of sticks in your head. But there you go. Those are the results for the Sweet 16 and the GTOV. We will have the voting and all that up on Twitter, the boards, and Facebook, and everywhere else sometime tomorrow. There you go. All right.
Well, something to discuss. Well, I mean, GTOV's got another at least 2 weeks left because next week's the Final Four.
Well, yeah. Why don't we? I think last year what we did is we did the Final Four. Or the Elite Eight got to the Final Four, and then we kind of sped up the voting like a couple days, so that we could have a champion at the same time the college does. Or we can go one extra week. It's up to you guys. It's whichever way you want to do it.
But yeah, we can see how it plays out. I mean, I feel like our listeners are malleable. So
yeah, all right.
I don't mind the week.
So we have some sporting stuff. I guess the NBA trade deadline was a few days ago. It was big deal for a couple teams, the Nuggets and the Bulls, namely.
I don't even want to talk about those teams.
I hate to duck out for a moment, but I actually do need to get going. But so I'm really sorry, guys, but I do need to head out for a moment. But I'll catch y'all later. Catch y'all next week, guys. So see you guys.
Okay.
So when it comes to the NBA. There's only two teams. There are two teams in the NBA right now, and it's the Brooklyn Nets and the LA Lakers.
Sure.
That's about it.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Because the Nets, who'd they pick up? They picked up LaMarcus Aldridge, right?
Yeah, they got
right.
So now their starting lineup can be Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge.
It's a pretty good team.
Yeah, that's all right.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
The Lakers, on the other hand, I was surprised they didn't do more. They only signed Andre Drummond off of waivers because LeBron is out and Anthony Davis is out, and they're kind of in a spiral without those two. So I thought that they would do something to kind of like, at the very least, patch things up until they get back. But if and when they're all healthy, because again, I don't think the Lakers are going to miss the playoffs or anything like that.
Right.
Yes, in theory, it's conceivable, but like, it's the we've taken the super team concept to a disgusting endpoint. I think, like yes, the Lakers have played a part in this, so I'm my team is not innocent, but this Nets team is disgusting. Like it's really gross just how they've just said like, yeah, blank slate, everybody come here, and just continued to add on and add on and add on, and now they're this behemoth that's either going to be
now,
too big and fall over on itself, or walk to a title.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I was talking to a bunch of Bulls fans who are real excited because they got this Vucevic or whatever from the Magic. And I don't follow the NBA terribly much anymore, but I kind of keep my fingers on the pulse to see what's up. And people are, let's go, the Bulls made a big trade. I'm like, okay, cool, so they can lose in the second round this year. It's like who gives a shit? It's not like what is the point? Like I have no idea how there are still fans of like 80% of the league. Like I just. It's cool to see things like the Bucks have a nice little core. They've got at least I can't remember his name. All of a sudden, it's killing me. Giannis, yeah. So I mean, there's certain franchises that have their stalwarts, and there's Jimmy Butler in Miami and stuff like that. But I mean, for the most part, though, like you said, it's maybe 3 teams, 4 teams, and at most, the rest doesn't matter, at least right now, and it's meh. But it's interesting to make for a good news day. See what else. Oh, there was a big NFL draft trade.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is very confusing to me because the draft is not for another month. And
it is next month. Yeah. April.
I did not know this. It's in Cleveland this year. I kind of knew that, but yeah, it's in Cleveland.
And they're supposed to be. They're gonna be like a decent crowd there, I guess.
Okay.
But the top 10 has been shifted around. And the Dolphins have traded with the 49ers. The 49ers will move into the top 3, I believe. And which is weird because you assume they're going to take a quarterback, and that will likely mean Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the move. But
there's rumors. I've heard that there are rumors that Jimmy G is headed back to the Patriots.
Yes, that's the most logical
thing.
Yeah.
And that the Niners are going to take what's his name, Mac Jones, quarterback.
Who knows?
Yeah, no, not Mac.
No, Justin Fields probably.
Probably Justin Fields. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have what? Trevor Lawrence will go number 1, Zach Wilson will go number 2, and then probably Justin Fields or Trey Lance.
Well, I guess it depends on who the Jets pick, because here the other thing that I've seen on the rumors for weeks and weeks and weeks, every time I would sign on to Twitter, Sam Darnold would be trending, and I'm always like, why? And then I would click onto it and you read through, and it's just the rumor mill, like churning and churning and churning. And there was rumors of them trying to send him to San Francisco for Garoppolo. So
lateral move, I would think. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know if I'd give up on Darnold for Garoppolo is what I'm saying. I mean, if you're going to go that route, just keep Darnold. You've got to.
The Jets' problems are so much deeper than
that's true.
QB, but it seems like they're pretty committed to getting a new QB. They've seemingly given up on Sam Darnold.
Well, I was going to. Okay, you saw him play at USC. Now, is he a true bust, or is it like would he be okay if he ended up with a better team, better organization somewhere?
I think he was with a better team. His major issue that hasn't really been corrected is when he was at SC, he could be a little turnover prone,
right?
And that's what's followed him with the Jets. But I mean, I also wouldn't judge anybody on the Jets because they've been terrible. They've been like every single part of that team is bad, and they've changed coaches and they've sold off parts, and like the Jets are nothing. We talked about before they stumbled into a win late last year of, is this possibly the worst 0-16 team of all time? They didn't end up going the full offer, but most games they weren't even remotely competitive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can pin that on Sam Darnold, I guess, but like who is he supposed to throw to? And when would you like him to throw? Before or after he's on the ground?
Like, I mean, Adam Gase, I mean, we all kind of the trend of Adam Gase as a head coach has led to quarterbacks succeeding once they get away from him.
Right.
So
I mean, like Ryan Tannehill for what? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And there's speculation.
So, I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if they want to let Sam Darnold go and he can latch on somewhere, I think he will. I don't know if he can get to the Ryan Tannehill. I think on pure talent, he's better than Ryan Tannehill. But Tannehill's become more of a game manager. In Tennessee, he's done a great job at it. That's not to diminish him or whatever.
Well, and it helps too to have Derrick Henry in the backfield, so you can run a lot of play action and do a lot of that. And that anytime you can buy your quarterback a little extra time, they're going to get that much better. And so
I'm having such a,
but
of the moves, I just don't get the Niners giving up on Garoppolo.
Well, I think it might be one of those deals where the Super Bowl where he played not great, but maybe I don't know. He's injury prone.
His injuries have all been non-contact for the most part, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Jimmy G's had some. He's had health problems. He's been above average, I think is a good way to describe him as a starter. I don't think he's not a franchise changer, and I think San Francisco and John Lynch have been pretty adamant that they've expected more of their team for a while now, and I just don't think they believe that Garoppolo is either A, the person to do that with his talent, or B, going to be healthy enough for the long term to do that. So,
but in a similar thing as what I said with the Jets, half the Niners has been injured every year. So like
they had like more injuries than I can remember ever seeing.
They had half the defensive front out, and Kittle was injured for most of last year. So like, do you want to judge Jimmy G on that? I mean, I guess you are, but
maybe I don't. The only thing I could think of is that they could possibly go offensive line. I think they're hoping that Zach Wilson will be there. Is my thought. I think Zach Wilson,
great pickup for them.
It'd be I don't think he's going to be there at 3, but they're betting on it. And the other thing is, as far as Donald goes, there was some rumor floating around yesterday that he was going to be traded to the Broncos, which feels like a lateral move because the Broncos already kind of have a few mediocre bad quarterbacks.
Darnold the thing to the Broncos?
Darnold going to Denver, and I think
I don't think that's a bad move. I think that would actually, unless you're just going to ride or die with what's his name, Drew Lock. I think Darnold's an upgrade, not a big one, but a little bit.
It's better than Drew Lock. But again, that's a team where you have so many other things to fix that.
Yeah.
He needs to go to an established franchise. He needs to go somewhere with an established starter. Like, he basically needs to follow the Trubisky plan, where you go and sit behind Josh Allen or sit behind a winner. I don't think that's going to help Trubisky become a better player, but it sure as hell make him get a better contract offer year after next, because he's not going to play.
I wonder where would Darnold be a good place to slot him in as a backup? Wow. I mean, just about anywhere, really. He's probably, decent. I don't know that you're going to have a better backup on your bench, but
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, really, to have him behind Matt Stafford.
The asking price won't be too bad, but the Rams have no draft picks. So, I mean,
they have no draft picks, and he would still cost money.
Yeah. He's going to cost a little bit more than, what's he in his second or third year?
He's only like 23.
Third.
He's a young guy.
Third year.
Yeah, I mean, he was drafted at 21. He was very young when he got drafted.
He's still on his rookie deal. Yeah, I think he has one more year and a 5th-year option, I think.
It'll be interesting. I know that I was listening to Dan Patrick today, and they had what's his name on, Chris Sims, and he's convinced that this Mac Jones from Alabama is going to be like the third quarterback taken over the other two guys.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, who knows?
It's to me, it's the same thing as every other Alabama QB that they've had.
Right. Yeah. I mean, AJ McCarron all the way back to, Richard Todd.
He's a good QB. There's no denying. I mean, he won a national title.
They do that every year. Big deal.
I'd say all props to him, but he's also throwing to the best receivers with the best line. And If you want to put him on the New York goddamn Jets,
who aren't going to be as good,
good luck.
Yeah, he in a sane world, guys like Trey Lance and Mac Jones would go in the probably late second, third round. That's where their talent lies. Like, should draw them. But because we live in an insano world where quarterbacks are the end all be all of all sporting things, it just blows my mind reading like a year ago, scouting reports for prepping for this draft and seeing where it's like, Trey Lance, he'd make a good, like day 2 pickup. And this year it's like, no, he's going to go in the top 7 probably. Like,
no one wants to be the team that misses on a guy now. So if you've got a little bit of hype coming into the draft and you've got some talent, they're probably going to draft you way too high because nobody wants to be the next team that misses on a Mahomes.
Well, did you see the highlight that came out of the BYU Pro Day with Zach Wilson?
I heard it was insane.
Where it's like he's running to his left and throws. He's a right-handed. He's running left and then throws like straight down the middle, against his momentum. And it's like, that's an incredible throw. Except somebody found a clip of Sam Darnold doing the exact same thing, and it's like, what the problem is, honestly, they should move the draft up to like February, like do it the week of the Pro Bowl or something. These people have way too much time to think about this stuff.
Yeah.
And so these guys get all these highlights against air and they pump up their value to this astronomical thing where you get this fever pitch of there's 7 quarterbacks to be drafted. Like, no. Just rev it back a little bit. You've seen these guys play on the field. You know what they are. You knew what they were 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Don't go like messing your head up because he threw really far downfield against nobody in boxer shorts.
Right. In a sterile environment, I mean, it's a hell of a throw. So I mean, you watch here, it's not great quality. It's a very impressive just to get the kind of lift and distance with the throw. Not that one here. It should come up here. Here we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Rolling to his left and zip. Like
I'm not taking a thing away from the kid, but let's see you do that with Myles Garrett in your face or with Aaron Donald in your face.
Well, right. That's the whole thing. Is that it's just it was just
And again, the clip I saw like that followed that clip, it was Sam Darnold in a live NFL game that did the exact same throw.
But here's the thing. So Sam Darnold doing that throw in a game, that's great. But the thing is, though, we know Sam Darnold. We've quantified him again in the NFL. Whereas this guy, he's the unknown, and the unknown is always more valuable.
He's the shiny new toy,
right?
I get it. Like there's so many. Like I said, the turnover prone thing. There's things that are going to drag around Sam Darnold that don't Zach Wilson. But to say that like the skill set is different, it's like I don't know. It amazes me that we go through this dance every year.
Yep.
And like what's going to happen is they're going to draft 7 straight quarterbacks to open this draft, and everyone's going to feel really good about it. And then in 2 years, only one of them or 2 of them is going to be on the same team or in the league. So like,
you've got guys now out there that are convinced that Zach Wilson is better than Trevor Lawrence now. They're like talking like he's the actual best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
That's just silly to me. I think that Trevor Lawrence is, and again, you never know for sure, but if I had to make a bet, I'm putting my money on Lawrence as being the closest thing we've got to a sure thing out of the whole crew.
He's been the number 1 pick for 3 years.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's not the best.
There's no reason to change your mind now.
Yeah.
Sure. No, Lawrence is kind of like one of those, I'm trying to think of an NHL equivalent. Trying to think of who would be a good. He's like your Austin Matthews type situation. I don't want to go Sidney Crosby, but kind of one of those situations where it's the obvious choice. It's been the obvious choice for a long time.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of people have too much time on their hands and they need to talk about stuff. And so,
well, I mean, it's like
you see these pro day tapes, and then people go nuts.
But it's also just like the perceived value of quarterback is ludicrous now. Like there's a guy out of Stanford. I think his name is Davis Mills. Guy in a sane world, he'd probably go 5th, 6th round, maybe undrafted. But because he's having these pro days that are interesting, and he's like 6'4", 220, he's a big dude. Yeah, it's like, well, maybe there's some team that's just going to say, fuck it, second rounder, boom, take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just makes my fucking head hurt. I understand, and the draft is a weird thing. It's always been a weird thing, and play like obviously Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel, these guys went in the first round when they had no business going in the first round. But I feel like we've really in the NFL really lost perspective on talent. Some of these positions, I feel like it's like, well, with all these receivers, well, fuck it. Well, there's all these receivers in line. Well, fuck it. We'll take it later. They're going to be there because they're not named.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You can receivers and running backs are replaceable.
Well, running backs,
and they have short shelf lives. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not drafting a running back at the earliest third, fourth round, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing how much that's changed, right? In the last 5 years, even.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think Trent Richardson was probably the last like hurrah of drafting a QB high or a running back high. Everyone's saying like, oh, damn, he sucks. And then like
Saquon Barkley went like what, third or fourth, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Well, but he again, a physical talent that you can't like.
He's a guy that you got to kind of just grab if he's there. But yeah. No, I remember like, oh man, there were years where a guy like what was that dude's name out of Penn State that went like number 1 overall to I think it was maybe Cincinnati or somewhere. But he was horrible, and you'd see guys like they would get drafted like second, third, or fourth running back.
Johnson?
No, I'm thinking of
Curtis Enos.
Curtis Enos, was he at Penn State?
Yeah, he's a Bears draft pick. It's Penn State. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. There's another guy too I can't think of. But anyway, Blair Thomas.
John Carter went to the Bengals.
John Carter, that's what I'm thinking of for the Bengals. Yeah, he turned out to be
1995.
Yeah, I mean, but back then, the running back, it was like, oh my god, we've got to take this guy. Like if he's there, we got to grab him. And there were so many busts. It wasn't funny. It was just like, wow, don't do this anymore. And now, I think I've seen a position in sports go from as valued to devalued as running back has over, say, the past 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, there's the standouts. There's the Saquon Barkleys. There's the Derrick Henrys.
Right.
Christian McCaffrey was in there.
Christian McCaffrey, yeah.
I'll even throw my guy Nick Chubb in there. He's pretty good.
So look like Leonard Fournette though. Leonard Fournette went.
Oh my, yeah.
Fourth overall. He's very much a traditional back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he was amazing for the Jaguars for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah,
and then.
But you look at like Nick Chubb's a second round pick and like mid second round.
Speaking of running backs that just won titles with the Buccaneers, I don't know. This was a couple weeks ago. Did you see what LaShawn McCoy said about himself?
No.
What did he say?
He called himself the running back of his generation.
Okay,
because he has 2 Super Bowl rings, which he was the backup running back for, and he has the stats to back him up, and it's like. No, you don't, dude. Like it's like I'm a 2-time Super Bowl champion. It's like, and how many carries did you get in both those big games, buddy? Huh?
Wow.
So why don't you just sit down quietly?
When you put too much emphasis on the rings, though, you see, there's like I got 2, and nobody else has. They've only got 1 or whatever, But using his logic, then like Robert Horry is the greatest player in NBA history.
Do a little trivia here for you guys. So. 2018 was the last year that 3 running backs were taken in the first round.
Wow.
Can you name all 3?
I don't know if I can name one.
Saquon.
Okay, yeah, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon?
No.
Oh, wow, 18.
Was drafted by the...
No, that was 14. No,
that was 2 years before. That was 2016.
Yeah.
This was pick 27 to the Seattle Seahawks. Guy out of San Diego State.
Was that Christian Michael?
No.
The
other pick was for the Patriots out of Georgia.
Oh, Sony Michel.
Michel. Yeah, went 31st overall. The other one was Rashad Penny.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he was a guy. I remember, was it last year or the year before that were like Rashad Penny's going to take out Chris Carson as a starting back for Seattle? Never happened, as far as I know.
Yeah, he. I remember him. Now that you say his name, I remember him at SDSU. I didn't recall his draft position, but yeah, okay.
I'm looking. I'm trying to see here. It looks like in 2010, I think that we've kind of overhyped. Like going back to 2010 with running backs, there was CJ Spiller, Ryan Matthews, and Javid Best all went in the first round.
CJ Spiller was the only one that
he was decent.
Yeah.
Then it is kind of it's kind of amazing to see the transformation, because between 2010 and 2018, it was like one running back per first round rather.
Yeah.
But 2009, 3 running backs in the first round. 2008, 5 in the first round. That was with Darren McFadden, Jonathan Stewart, a few others. 4.
Darren McFadden in my video game was incredible. I remember that.
Yeah.
He never lived up to his on-field persona.
It's cracked me up in video games. Like, you get a guy that was just average at best in real life, and he'd be really good in the video game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the video game takes in what their potential is supposed to be when they're drafted and all this stuff. And so they have these amazing video game careers that, don't pan out in real life.
Yeah. We have to be interesting this year. It should be I think you're right. I think you're going to see a lot of quarterbacks that probably are 3rd round picks at best. They're going to go in the first round.
But at least we'll get the comfort of seeing Goodell get booed again. And we also need to use this next month to reflect and think about how we would like if we would like to do another draft, what we should draft. If you guys want to do it again, we don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was fun.
It's a difficult thing.
Next week, I guess we can see more as it comes along, because we're getting towards the end of the show here. But I just can't get over, and I don't want to get into it too deeply, but Deshaun Watson went from the hottest property ever to completely radioactive at this point. I've never seen it happen this fast.
19 up to 19 suits now.
Yeah, that's got to be a record, right?
I mean, we touched on it at the end of last week, right?
Yeah.
And I think it came out. I forget who did the story, but somebody talked to one of his other personal trainers that didn't actually file a suit, that didn't have any incidents, but just kind of outlined the attitude and behavior that he kind of treated them with.
Wow.
And,
was it consistent with the other stuff?
Yeah.
Wow, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if he did all this, then he deserves what's coming to him. But you just hate to see a guy that's that talented and that good just fucking chuck it all away because you're stupid, because that's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah.
It's
the only thing that bothers me about it, and I think we talked about it last week. The only thing that bothers me is just when you look at this, and again, not victim shaming at all, but just kind of say something earlier so that we don't have to
right.
So that we don't have to go through 20 of them, and it's just a thing of, you can call them out early enough.
Well, the thing, the fairness of that to the women though, is it's got to be tough to come out and be the first one.
Yeah.
And once you get the first one, the second one's, well, shit, if she's going to do it, I'll do it. And then, then all of a sudden the floodgates open.
Right. Yep, I know. And I completely agree that's how that goes. And I never having been a woman that's been a victim of sexual assault, or even a man victim of sexual assault, I can't imagine how difficult that is to do that, especially when it's somebody in a position of quote unquote power.
Sure. Great.
But I think that we've gone through enough of these that you would think that the tide might start to turn and people might be a little bit more courageous about doing it,
or maybe do less of it, both ways. Yeah.
Well, yes. Yeah, of course.
Right.
Not to say that this is all on the victims for not speaking out, but
no, but yeah, what I'm just saying, you would think too, that by now, especially a guy in his position, if he's guilty, and again, we're going to assume he's not until he's proven guilty, but
sure.
You would think that, with all the stuff that they see and with social media and everything's so instantly accessible now, that you would be smart enough to go, hey, we don't want to go there. You know what I mean? But who knows? I mean, I don't know what makes people do what they do.
I mean, the trial is kind of happening now, and people are, he's already tainted, mean, it's really, it's going to be really hard to figure this out for him. And, it's way too early to kind of draw conclusions or anything. We've already been through all that. So unfortunately, it is as fascinating as it is to discuss and speculate about it. So it's the same thing every week, until there's actually we begin the trial or whatever.
And you got to kind of couch everything you say because, we don't have any facts to work with and all that. So it's kind of a pointless discussion, but it's just amazing to me that he went from the guy that was going to pull in 5 first-round draft picks to completely fucking radioactive. Nobody wants a thing to do with him now. And it took all a month. It's just it's a fast-moving world these days. One last thing before we go, guys. Baseball opening day is what, Thursday, I believe.
That sounds
Indeed.
right.
Yeah,
April is here finally.
Yeah,
and a lot of places have fans back, so we'll have nature is healing.
A nice scientific experiment in Texas and I think Atlanta to see what's going to happen. So
in Atlanta, it also brings up questions that we can talk about next week of people calling for MLB to remove the All-Star game from the state of Georgia.
Oh, I don't even know why, but
the voting rights bill.
Oh, I don't know enough about that to give a honest comment.
No, I know. I'm just,
I don't. I will look into it next week.
Let's table it.
No, I've got nothing on it. Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to baseball being back into warm weather and all that. But we're
coming around the corner.
I look forward to talking about it.
Yeah, we're coming around. As Andy said in a tweet or the thing in the Discord the other day, we're starting to heal, and it feels pretty good. Oh, yeah. I know that I am, having gotten my first shot. I'll see like cases are going up. I'm like, oh, that's right. I don't have to worry about it as much as I used to, and it's a good feeling. And we need to get more people out there to get more shots if that's your thing. And, let's just get this over with is the way I look at it.
You don't necessarily have to get it, but I mean, the more people that get it, the faster we can get back to being around each other and not have to wear masks. So get out there.
And not only that, but you worry a lot less when you've got even the first one. You're going, it's
there's been I felt great after the first one, just mentally.
Exactly. I walked out going, something feels weird. I don't know what it is. And it was like, I think it's the weight of the world lifting off my shoulder.
There is medical real evidence that Pfizer and Moderna prevent infection. They do not just prevent disease and death after the first injection. 80% effective against infection, 90% effective after the second shot. So I mean,
that's the thing. That's the thing too. It's like, look, I'm not going to endorse this, but even if you just get the first shot, if you're afraid of what's going to happen in the second one, get the fucking first one. That helps. It's not perfect, but it helps. Just do something, man. But
just do a little bit of investigation. Go look at your local news resources, and chances are excellent you'll be pointed in the direction of a Walgreens or a local hospital, and get your shots. And let's get this shit taken care of so we can get back to the world.
And it doesn't even hurt that much.
No, hell no. Come on.
And the feeling of relief is as good as like taking a couple Vicodin, trust me. Anyway, all right, we're gonna wrap it up unless you guys got anything else.
No, just a quick fun calendar note. Saturday is 4-3-2-1.
Well,
hey.
So wait, okay, so we've got that, and we've got the final score of the QAnon. So we got to figure out. All right. We will decipher this and have exactly what's going to happen for you next week on the show with that.
Let me be the first to wish you a very happy Easter.
When is Easter?
Sunday.
God, I can never keep track of it. It's like, can't you put it on the same fucking day every year? I mean, how hard is that?
No.
Why? We'll talk about this next week too. But
reasons I don't remember. But yeah,
they're not good enough because Christmas is on the same fucking day every year. I mean, dude was born on the same day, but he dies at a different fucking time of the month every year. I'm sorry. I'm not going along with it. All right. Anyway, follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. Let me stop for a second there so I can get my clothes ready to go. And we will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.